From reviews to rankings, The Big Picture is all things movies. From in-depth analysis of the latest flick to sit-down interviews with some of the biggest movie stars and filmmakers on the planet, Sean Fennessy and Amanda Dobbins have got you covered. Check out The Big Picture on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements, so many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code VISIBLE24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com. This episode is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. All right, it's official. I think I've discovered the ultimate coupling of all time. Like any good relationship, they really balance each other out. One is super sweet, and the other, well, they can be a little nutty sometimes. It is, of course, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, the perfect combination of peanut butter and chocolate. So perfect, some would call it true love. Find Reese's now at a store near you. Welcome to Bachelor Party. It's Thursday. I'm Juliet Litman. I'm here with Callie Curry. Hi, Callie. How are you?
Hello, hello. I am exhausted, but this conversation is going to energize me, so I'm so excited.
You're ready to roll.
Yes.
It's early Thursday. We've got a lot to dig into. We were just talking about what we're going to go over, and I'm pretty excited because you just do a lot of great research. So I can't wait to find out what this turned up this week.
Yes, if research includes staring at TikTok at 3 a.m. for like 2 hours, then I am like, number one researcher in the world.
I did some wild Googling last night / this morning around like 4:30 a.m. Like not even related to reality TV, but like just in general. I was like, I'm awake. I'm not even going to fight it. I'm going to look at my phone. And I started like Googling like lots of different products and like random questions. Like sometimes in the middle of the night, just don't, people who are like, keep your phone out of your bedroom. I agree with that. But like sometimes you just need to be on it, whatever.
I don't think I could ever do that. It gives me anxiety to be away from my phone. Like when my phone dies, I freak out. I'll do anything to find a charger. I will ask someone on the street for a charger if my phone dies. I can't deal with it. I even have the phone case that has the charger in it.
So that you really shouldn't run out. I feel like bars are a lot more lenient about letting people charge their phones than they used to be. Now that we're going back to bars. Okay, let's talk about The Bachelor. Let's begin with talking about motivational speaker Karl, who is the worst. What were your thoughts?
Well, first of all, a motivational speaker named Karl from Miami. Have you ever heard of a motivational speaker from Miami? I'm like, what? I would love to actually go to like one of his speeches and see. I'm always curious. Are these really their job titles? Like, are they really these things?
Some are. Actually, I'm really glad you brought this up because we talk about Cody, but I did a little research into his zipper salesman career, and that is real.
What does that mean?
He said that he sells the zippers on like Ziploc bags. Like it's not for clothes. It's like other like zipper technology. I don't know. I don't want to yuck anyone's yum, but it sounds really boring. No thanks. Anyway, I think that some of the job titles are real, but like when they don't have actual normal jobs, they aren't that real. I don't know. But you know what? I bet Karl, if he is a real motivational speaker, we should be able to find it on YouTube. So I'm gonna have to look into that.
Do you know if they do background checks?
So they are supposed to. Especially because they've had a bunch of people with like criminal or not
history.
Even criminal, but like sexual, like there was one guy who was accused of sexual harassment. They're supposed to. They're also supposed to do STD testing.
Interesting.
And they're supposed to do background checks. I think they do.
Okay.
So they try to confirm stuff to a certain degree, but like stuff slips through the cracks. And they've been releasing the cast list earlier than they used to, and like some people think that is because they're trying to figure out trying to like crowdsource if people are cancelable before they go on the show,
weed out the bad ones. No, I was just wondering, I'm like, could someone just put motivational speaker, because I just can't imagine, especially after this episode, I don't know if he's like the way he reacted when the guys found out that he was the one that said something. I'm like, I don't even think he's trying to stir the pot. I think he's a little clueless.
I just like, we don't know what he was saying. There was no substance at all. So it was just sort of like, what are you talking about? And I don't think he actually did say anything because she was also so confused. It wasn't like when she went to Matt and was like, this is the problem in the house. He just was just like saying shit.
No, I don't think he said anything. He just said like, beware, there's guys in the house. And she was like, can you give me an example? And he was like, I don't want to give you a good example. But like, you can't go to someone and be like, hey, there's huge problems. Not going to tell you what they are, but like, just be aware of the huge problem. I do think it made Aaron, is that his name? I think it made him look much better. Like, didn't really like care about him that much. And I feel like the way he responded, also, I think it proved that he wasn't just like, out there snitching on people. He didn't make shit up. Like, I think he handled it very well with being like, I honestly don't know what you're talking about. I will go back and like try to figure it out, but I just don't know.
I thought it was interesting she picked him to like fact check the situation. But I guess it's because he like presumably had been honest about what was going on with Cody, so maybe she felt she could trust him. But I was just surprised. I feel like I would think that's a good sign for Aaron, but I don't think they have much of a connection, so I think it's sort of irrelevant.
Yeah, I don't see any connection there, except for I do think that she trusts him, or I think she trusts his judgment because he said something about Cody and then she's met with Cody and she was like, oh, he's clearly right. I mean, that conversation was just.
He didn't even try to defend himself. He was just like, I don't even know what the sound of his voice is. Like, did he even speak? I can't really remember.
He was like, maybe it's exaggerations. And I was like, so there is a there.
Yeah.
If you're saying he's saying exaggerating. And she was like, well, what could he be exaggerating? And she was like, I don't know. You wouldn't say that if there was nothing that he could be exaggerating. Yeah. Also, when he went to speak to Aaron, he wasn't mad at him. He was like, why didn't you just like keep your mouth shut? I don't really understand. So I'm like, you did something that you know that you did that you don't want talked about at all, because the way he was talking was very much so like, we didn't even have to go. Like, he did not want to bring it up. He was just like, I don't really understand, dude. Like, why would you do that? I'm like, if someone made something up like that, talking about my character, I'm furious.
Especially like in the real world, you're furious. On television, you're livid. You're like, I have to now live my life. People thinking that I'm like some shady character. Defend yourself a little bit better, dude. Also, make your way to paradise. Have some fights. Fight for it.
Yeah, he's done. I also think that I don't know this. I went through his Instagram immediately because I was like, clearly something's there. There's nothing that was like alarming, but I'm also like, at this point, he had to have cleaned up everything knowing that this was going to happen. So not surprised I didn't find anything that was like insane. I thought that I tried Googling too. I thought that there was going to be something racial because it seemed the way he was tiptoeing around it was very much so like, I know I made a mistake. I'm sorry for my mistake, but like, come on, dude, I said sorry. I'm trying to like move on. Like, that's the kind of like vibe I got from it. Maybe it wasn't racial, but something along those lines that he doesn't want brought up.
I felt like it was possible something very concrete was referenced, like, or someone like there like was a specific incident, but like for some reason they edited it so that like a random person that we don't know like wasn't brought into the fray. Cause like it seemed like maybe Cody and Aaron like knew someone that like one of them dated or they both dated or like something that was like related to dating of like people they just know in their regular life. And it's really hard to like bring that into the show and be like, well, we're in a fight because of da-da-da. So it seemed like there was something specific they just like edited out.
Yeah, there might have been something that actually happened, or even him like beating someone up. Like that, those were the things I was thinking of that I was like, he does not want this brought up though, clearly.
Yeah.
But there was not anything on his Instagram. So like, who knows? I will say his Instagram is insane. Like,
I would say it's incredibly lame. Like, it's just so lame.
Also, I'm like, for being a zipper salesman, this is not what I was expecting from your Instagram.
I know.
He is from San Diego though, right? Which is like, LA adjacent. Yeah. It seemed like, every other waiter in LA that wants to be famous. Like, I know Aaron wasn't saying that this was the only reason why he was upset, but was very much on the, like, he wants to be famous. And like, judging by his Instagram, I'm like,
yep,
correct.
He sure does.
Yeah.
I just don't get the like random guy who happens to be ripped posting all of these like workout pictures. I mean, like, does anyone find that attractive? I'm obviously not the target demo for Cody's Instagram, but like, is there anyone who's like, cool, outside of like a casting director for a reality show, who's like, cool, Cody, this is great content. We are all into you. I mean, it's like bad thirst trapping.
I'm absolutely not the target demo for Cody, so I don't even know.
Either.
But I personally, first of all, I don't know if it's like the older you get. I'm 31, so I don't think I'm like super old by any means. But like, I'm not even attracted to like a ripped body. Like I can be like, wow, you work out a lot. But also,
this is what I call the Ryan Reynolds. I'm just like, it doesn't look natural. It's like, I can see the work and I appreciate the work, but it's not really for me.
I don't think it's going to it doesn't give you a point or take a point away from you for me. Like, I'm just like, cool, whatever. It's not even a bonus.
I'm with you.
Like, it doesn't even, it doesn't do anything for me. I will say people that are super ripped, I'm like, we probably can't be together. I like fries. I like being on the couch. You wouldn't enjoy me because I'm not working out every day either. So like, totally. I don't want to feel that pressure. I don't want to have like celery juice every morning. You know,
I ordered a pizza last night by myself. Sorry.
So to me, I'm like, that's almost like I'm probably not for you. But
completely.
But good for you.
I think that's one of the reasons why like dating in San Diego and Los Angeles is so difficult, is because there's so many people that are like that. And if you're not, you're just like, well, where do we go from here? It's very hard to know.
Also, I always think like if someone has a real job and they're that ripped, I'm like, that means you probably wake up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Another checkbox for me being like, absolutely not. You're going to hate me. I'm waking up right before I have to be somewhere.
Yeah, seriously. There's no time for green juice or weightlifting in this life.
No, that's not for me. But apparently it works. I feel like all of these guys, like, have they ever, we've talked about this, I think, but like, they don't really have fat people on the show.
No, absolutely not. There's no fat people. I mean, I don't think there's even someone who's like, for women, like a size 10. Like, I think,
is size 10 where we're going into chunk? Am I chunky?
No, no. I think also it's like, that's the point though. It's like, they don't have anyone who's like not super skinny. And for the men, Nick was saying that's really hard to get cast if you're not 6 feet. And I know that we both like tall guys. We're both tall, but like, that's also.
There's no way they're all 6 feet plus, right?
No, not all of them, but he was saying like most of them are. Cause I was asking Nick a couple on Monday because when Katie and Greg were standing next to each other, I was like, he doesn't look like a tall person to me. He doesn't have tall guy energy, but I was like, oh, is he tall or is Katie just really short? Cause he was like a foot taller than her. And I was really surprised. And he said Katie's like 5'3". So I was like, okay, yeah, Greg's probably like 6 feet.
Really, really short.
But I still think he's like probably 6 feet, but he doesn't have tall guy energy whatsoever. So I was very surprised.
You know how speaking of Greg, I've been on, do I love him or do I hate him train for a while, or for 2 weeks, I guess.
Feels like forever.
Yeah. This episode, I feel like I really liked him.
Yeah.
TikTok does not like him.
Really? What are they saying on the TikTok streets?
I've seen lots of TikToks about, they have these like little trend videos, and there's been a lot of videos of like, I went on a date with Greg and he ghosted me. Like there's been multiple stories about Greg ghosting people.
Okay. I don't want to defend ghosting. However, Greg is a generic white guy who lives in New York City, who took acting classes and is in his late 20s. I think that's like almost standard behavior, unfortunately. Should we accept it? No. But does that make him a horrible person? Also, no.
Oh, no. I don't think this episode, I was like, all right, Greg, you're back on my good side. I'm into you. I liked that he was vulnerable. I also didn't feel like it was fake. Because like he could have done it. He could have done it on the date and didn't. You know what I mean? Like he waited until she wanted to talk about it, which I just thought the conversation was great and genuine, and he's going to win.
He's definitely gonna win. You knew it wasn't fake because he didn't really talk that much. Like a lot of these guys like vamp for the camera and like, we'll circle back to Karl on this note, but like Greg was like kind of he's just super boring. He's just like, he clearly doesn't have that much to say that's like sensational. Like maybe he's like, a good conversationalist, but like he just doesn't have like the bombastic conversations that like a lot of these other dudes do. And it just sort of like, I'm like, okay, so then this is genuine because you're not trying to be like on camera.
He's not trying to be the star of the show. Also, I watched it with my mom, who has never watched any of these shows before.
What'd she think?
First of all, I think I've been watching it for so long that like her questions, I was like, come on, get with it. It's not that hard of a concept. Like she was like, wait, so all of these guys are going after her? Are these the same guys from last date? I'm like, no, whole new group of guys. There's a whole new group of guys. She's like, how many guys? How did she tell them
That's
apart?
very
like,
funny.
She was just asking so many questions. But on Greg, when the date first started, she was like, oh, okay. I thought these guys were all supposed to be like strikingly handsome. And I was like, no, it's like, it's a mix of all types of guys. And then
all types of skinny guys.
Yeah. Skinny, in shape, juice drinkers. They like zoomed in on him and she was like, is he attractive? Like his features are actually all very attractive. But when you zoom out, you're like, I mean, he's not incredibly looking, but like, it's so very strange.
Better taken super up close, like when you're making out with him.
Yeah, up close. I was like, he is kind of very good looking. Like great skin, great eyes, great lips, like everything looked great up close.
I saw some memes where people were like, did they do a make under on Greg to make him look less good? Because like if you go through his Instagram, he does kind of look better a few years ago. Also, Greg was in the initial batch of men who were going to be on Claire's season, and then they like recast to go older, and so he's like been in the pipeline for a while, which is kind of interesting. I think that his hair is bad. I feel like if he had a better haircut and didn't look like he could have been on Boy Meets World, then it would like because he kind of has like the older brother Eric's haircut to me from Boy Meets World.
The little like swoop down, cover some of his face sometimes. But in general, I think Greg scored a lot of points with me last episode.
I really liked the hoodie and flannel look that they both had, but particularly on him.
Yeah, he's actually a good dresser, which I think I need to appreciate more after
someone like
Matt's
Cody
season.
Oh yeah, seriously.
Or Cody.
Someone like Cody. So back to Karl for a second. While we've been chatting, I looked it up. So Karl's Instagram handle is K Smith Inspires. And he has another handle for his business called Next Level Success, which is indeed a motivational speaker company. So I think that might be real. Is he successful? I don't know. Is any of this like getting him places? I also don't know. But I thought your point about him being from Florida and a motivational speaker is funny because I always think about Little Miss Sunshine, which is the guy in it is also a motivational speaker. And I think they were from Florida. And I just like... I don't know. I have a lot of, I'm just going to be honest with you. I hope this doesn't upset you, but I have a lot of anti-Florida biases as a Northeasterner. So I'm like, sure, I could see him being from Florida.
I obviously lived in Florida for a very long time. I kind of say I'm from Florida half the time, depending on who I'm talking to. And
where are you from the other half the time?
Well, I grew up saying I was from Texas because I went to elementary school in Texas. And so like and that was like the longest time I lived anywhere. And then I eventually like surpassed that in Florida. And so like it became a point where I was like, I guess I don't say Texas anymore. I should say Florida. But I've moved around so much that like I haven't lived anywhere longer than like 6 years or something like that consecutively.
You're just a woman of the world. Can I just tell you?
Of the United States, because I've never lived outside of the United States.
I just want to tell you, my parents, they've lived in the same apartment. It'll be 42 years in October. That's the complete opposite.
Insane. I kind of envy that. I enjoyed moving around. My brothers didn't, but I do envy just like people who are like, yeah, my best friend since I was 2. And I'm like, I don't even remember who that was. Like, I just don't have that.
Sure.
But most people, I think, feel the same way about people that are from Florida.
It's just the last few years have been really tough. The body of evidence that we have, it's just not positive. So I'm like, sure, I could see Karl being from like, but I don't think I would be like, oh, he seems like a Miami guy, just because I think of Miami as like a more kind of like multicultural city.
Yeah, well, sure. I still would not think that a motivational speaker would come from Miami. You know what I mean? Like, that's not really what Miami's known for.
No.
I also don't think if I was a motivational speaker, I'm going on this show. Like, I think it's not good for business.
That's
Unless
interesting.
you go on and you act perfectly. But you
guess
can't go on and act like that.
It's just so much exposure though. And so like, while that's true, like, it's like, why would anyone take advice from Karl after this performance he's given us? But on the other hand, he'll just get more gigs because people will be like, oh, that guy from The Bachelor, sure, we'll have him on. He's got like some modicum of fame or whatever. I don't know. I think the motivational speaker business seems like all scams anyway. So he's like a scammer trying to find an audience. So I don't know.
Yeah, actually, I don't even know how one becomes like, I could be a motivational speaker, I guess. Right?
100%. Yeah.
Put it in my bio.
Yeah. Or just do like one 45-minute online class of like speaking techniques. Yeah, completely. Just like,
honestly, think I could do it
better. Yeah. And then, you know, like your appearance fee like, probably can skyrocket if you're Karl from this. Like, let's say he's getting
That's true.
$500 from doing that would be a lot, I think, for like an hour. He could definitely double it.
Wait, you say $500 would be a lot for an hour?
From Karl? Yeah. I mean what's your price for Karl? How much are you paying him? If you believe, even if you believed in Karl, how much are you paying him for an hour? What's your upper limit?
I mean, I don't think I'm paying anyone I don't know what their like success story is, or like, you know, I would say I'm not paying anyone over $50 that I don't know. Like some random person being like, I'm a motivational speaker. Even $50 seems like a lot for a random person.
Yeah, you know, it's like you got to like submit your CV so you know what your accreditation is. Like, Karl, how did you get to this place?
That's what I'm like. If Oprah was like, I'm going to come into your company and give a motivational speech, I'm like, okay, I who knows what her fee is? $100,000? Who knows?
Oprah?
Probably more. Yeah,
I think the most expensive speakers are probably the most expensive speakers in the world are Barack and Michelle Obama. I don't think you can get them for less than $1 million. Yeah. I think Harry and Meghan also really high. Oprah and Bill and Hillary Clinton. I think those are like the top of the speaker's fees.
I am trying to think if there's anyone else, but yeah, I think you hit the big hitters.
Like, who else are you even interested in hearing talk? Like, even the people who are like more famous, I'm just like, well, you don't have the same to offer. And it's like a lot of reality stars you could hear on TV for free. So
yeah,
like Kim Kardashian or something.
You would think that like Michael Jordan's fee would be astronomical, but I just feel like he's like, I have no interest.
Yeah, no interest. And I feel like we got it all in The Last Dance. Like, we know where he stands on basically anything that you'd want to know about.
Gosh, that was such a good piece.
I know. And it's like with the iPad and everything, it's just absolutely iconic. So
yeah,
like, I'm not paying him anything. I've got plenty of Michael Jordan out there.
Yeah, so $500 for Karl post
show
is high, and he probably will get more. So you're right. I just don't understand who's hiring him.
I don't know either, but he could transition to like the bar scene, you know. Like
motivational speaking at the bars.
Well, that's what a lot of reality people do after they go on shows. They like do like these bar tours. Although this is the second time I've referenced bars, and I'm again like they're just only recently back. Although in Florida they never left. So
they never left. Also, for everyone listening, it's 10:45 a.m. So not sure what's on Juliet's mind, but she's ready to go to a bar.
Seriously, I'm like just ready to go.
I did not know that they did bar tours. I don't even understand
like the challenge people all do bar tours.
What is that? You just go to a bar? Like, like hosting like the little
flyers.
Yeah,
so you make an appearance. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay,
and it's like Johnny Bananas will be there and you get like a picture with him, do a shot together.
I would do that. I actually got a flyer sent to me from a friend where the New Jersey house husbands were doing like something like that. And she was like, ugh, I wish you lived here. You're the only person I know that would go to this with me. So I was like, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I would go. I would absolutely go to New Jersey house husbands, especially since Frank is going to be there. But
seems like Potomac husbands would be the best one, most dramatic.
It would be an interesting. Someone would probably fight.
Oh, definitely. Or you'd have your butt touched by Michael Darby. I've been to so many like reality TV like events. First of all, I've been to SUR and Pump like numerous times. I I walked past the Shore store in the Jersey Shore, where they worked. I've been to like so many Top Chef restaurants. Like I am like the generic person who goes to this stuff. I'm like, cool. I would love to go. I went to the Bachelor live tour last year before the pandemic, when like they were doing this like live stage tour hosted by Ben and Becca. Like I go to all this crap. I can't lie.
I gotta be honest, I would not go to any of that. Especially post-pandemic, I find myself being very picky about what public places that I'm going to. And I love the excuse of just being like, I'm just not comfortable with that.
You're just like, I'm staying home today.
The only one I would go to is, I'm obsessed with food, which we've talked about a lot also this morning. I would 100% go to Top Chef restaurants.
They're all really good. Stephanie Izard from Chicago, her restaurants are amazing. I've been to the Voltaggio Brothers restaurants. I also used to see Michael Voltaggio at Soul Cycle all the time in LA, and he was always front row center. He was really into it. It's just like just one side note. My best Soul Cycle experience was one time front row center was David Beckham and Posh Spice, and they were together.
Oh my gosh, that would be fun.
It was incredible. David Beckham was so good at it. It was unreal. Anyway, that's it for another time.
Of course, I'm sure there was 10 other like Bachelor cast members there. We just didn't know.
Yeah, seriously.
At the 5 a.m. class.
Yeah, no, this was on like Saturday morning at 10. Their kids were waiting outside with a nanny.
That's cute.
Yeah, it was great. Anyway, back to Karl. So yeah, I think he really is a motivational speaker, believe it or not. So, I mean, I would love to get his rate sheet. I bet we can find it on his website. I'll do some research, but I think that's why he goes on this. Is like he has to make a big name because he needs people to be booking him. Also, think about Karl. He's probably just been doing shit online because he couldn't have people come to any of his events for the last year. So he has a lot of free time.
True. That's true. Also, I was just thinking about this conversation. I'm like, we've said his name roughly 76 times in the past 20 minutes. So like, it's working to an extent. I wouldn't have ever looked up his Instagram if he weren't ever on the show.
Yeah, I agree. And also like, he's just not that noteworthy. That's like, he's clearly just trying to like make a name for himself because he's not that noteworthy. So.
But see, that's the thing. I don't know if he is. I could not tell based off his reaction. I'm like, is he unaware?
I don't know. I think he thinks he's like commanding the room or something, or like taking the reins of this experience.
Well, I mean, his I don't even know what his like sex performance or whatever that was. I don't know what you want to call that, when he went on stage. Like he thought he was killing it. And I'm like,
and it was horrible.
Yeah, I'm like, this is odd.
Yeah. Really tough. And apparently it went on for a really long time.
I mean, every single comment was like, wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up.
Not in the way that you would think for a sex conversation. Let's talk about the sex conversations.
Yeah.
Should we start with Mike, the virgin?
Oh, yes. We can start with Mike, the virgin.
I felt very sad for him. I was just like, this is mean. And then it ended up being fine. And I was like, oh, this is nice. She's validated him. But he was like crying. And I just like, I'm sure he knew something like this would happen, but he probably didn't think it'd be like week 2. He probably thought like he could like wait until like the fantasy suites to address this.
Yeah. Guess what, Mike? You're talking about sex every week on this, on this season. So buckle up, bud. I don't know what.
You're like, I hate him.
No. I do not hate him. I actually thought, like, I don't think majority of men would have done what he did. Like, I love that he was very straightforward to do that in front of all of the guys. I have to imagine.
Yeah. So scary.
Like, yeah, I was scared for him. Although the reaction from the guys was great. The reaction from Katie was great. So I feel like him being truthful was the best route to go, and probably not the route that I would have taken. So I'm like, listen, you know better than me at this point, because I would have tried to skirt around that. I just made some shit up.
Medical emergency, have to go.
I would have literally tried to like Google, or I don't know what you do in that situation. I personally don't need Google, but I think that's what I would do if I was a virgin. But I mean, I just can't. Katie seems to not be bothered by it. I don't think I would ever willingly go into a relationship with a virgin.
I just think it puts a lot of pressure on the relationship and like everything you have together, because the way that he was talking about it is so unrealistic about like sex and relationships and how they fit together. It's just like, a really bad place to start because he brings so much baggage with it and so many expectations that are, I think, pretty off base. And it's just like, and they're just obviously very different. Like, even though the way that like her sex positivity has been portrayed so far is like bizarre and not what sex positivity is. She does have sex and clearly she's like into talking about it and he is not. So that's just not a match.
Yeah, there are plenty of women that have the same set of values as him. And though I think that's where you find your match. But I'm like, the number one thing we've talked about Katie over and over, like literally beating it, like I can't even, it's over the top how much they've talked about it, is that she enjoys having sex.
Right.
So how does that match with someone who has never had sex and doesn't plan to until marriage?
Right. It's just, yeah, it's like such a foundational part of a relationship, like how you approach sex and how you approach it together, obviously. Like, it's just not a match. So it's just like Mike should probably go. And yeah. And like, he didn't even get a rose, though. He won the competition. So
yeah. And also, again, it's no knock to him. There's plenty of people that live their life that way.
Yeah.
But like, Katie clearly does it. And I'm like, I mean, I know she brought a dildo on, but I don't think she wants to like sign up to use that for 2 years.
No way. Also, I do feel like in the last few years, like dildos and vibrators have been normalized and much more than they used to be. Maybe it's like because like Goop sells that ridiculous one. And it's just like so much more out there. So like this is part of that, which is definitely good. I feel like women's pleasure has just become more of a focus in some of these conversations.
More acceptable to talk about. I do, like, if you think about reality television, I feel like the women on reality television are talking about sex more in a more normalized way.
Yeah. Definitely.
I actually, I got an email from a brand on wanting to do a collab around a vibrator. And like, when I first read it, I was like,
for you specifically?
Yeah, like for me to promote
on
like
Instagram,
on Instagram. And like when I first got it, I was like, a vibrator? Like I would never do that. And then I was like, would I not? like what's wrong with that? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like your initial reaction is like, no way. And then I was like, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. No, seriously. I do think it's like, I think there's like some positives to this season so far. Like Nick and I were talking about this too, but you know, they've previously like really exploited people who are virgins to like, they're like crying, like, you know, Ashley I and Colton, and just sort of like really made them seem like freaks. And obviously there's, you know, a lot more to the Colton story since in the last few months. And with Ashley I don't want to like speak for her. She's also spoken about it a lot on her pod. So like, there's clearly just like more to her story too. And so I think it's nice that they kind of have used the Mike situation, though they put him in a pretty unfair situation to begin with. At least it's like he came out on top and sort of like it's a new path forward for talking about on the show.
Unfair position. Also, like they didn't have to put him on that date. They knew he was a virgin. They put him on that date, but he handled it so well that it didn't matter. Like he kind of beat the producers
the show.
In this episode.
I know. And like, that feels great. I'm glad, you know, good, happy for Mike.
Yeah.
The other person who was like low key standout from that date was Quartney with a Q. The only one who I think got the socks answer correctly.
I'm really struggling with the way he spells his name. And I know that's not fair. But like, I just can't get over it. Every time it like pops up on the bottom of the screen. Why?
I don't know. I just don't. And also he's just like sort of like wacky in a weird way. I don't even know if that's like how to put it, but I don't know.
Yeah, but don't you feel like your name can determine some of those traits about you?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
He's a little quirky.
Also with the Q.
I'm like, it's just no coincidence to me that he is a little like, you know, I don't even know what the word is.
He's like wacky kind of.
Yeah, but I don't dislike him as a person. I feel like I just like go blind when he comes on the screen.
I feel like there's something about him that's like very like objectively beautiful. Like he's like very like pretty looking, but similarly to Katie in a totally different way, I don't feel like he has like this like a lot of sexual energy. I feel like this group in general is actually pretty short on sexual energy. And maybe that's true of The Bachelorette in general, because you're just like, why did you all go on this show? But there's no one who I'm like, wow, they seem to have like, you know, some kind of 5% of the Tyler C-ness of, that you would look for.
Yeah. Actually, I'm like thinking about it. I'm trying to think if there's like anyone, because even the like incredibly good looking guys on this show don't like emit that.
I think the only one really is Justin. I think he's got it. Maybe that's because he so casually had the Ready Whip in his pocket for like half the episode.
Yeah, maybe. Also, I just feel like from talking in my group chats, I don't think that he's gotten like a ton of camera time.
Justin? Yeah,
Yeah. But like everyone seems to just like generally like him.
Yeah. It's because he's hot.
Like
so
we have top threes, and I feel like he's like the third in a lot of the top threes that I've seen in my group chats.
Who else
and
is
I'm like,
popular?
How is he? Thomas is really popular. Greg is number one on like everybody's, because I think everyone just thinks everyone thinks he's gonna win.
Right. Yeah.
So they're just like, I have to put him in my top three so I can say I was right week one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Greg, Andrew S.
Mm-hmm.
Is
he seems fun.
A lot of them. Aaron this week snuck up on in a lot of them.
I like Aaron. He seems, apparently Thomas is like incredibly tall. Apparently he's like 6'6", like a linebacker.
I think Thomas is like objectively attractive.
Yes, he is. Agreed. He's. I'm not really into him again. I don't know. Like I'm just not really into most of these guys.
Thomas is in my top three. But their conversations are the same. Every conversation is, I'm into you. I can't explain it, but I'm into you. And then it's like, I'm into you too. It's so weird. Let's go on this ride together. And then it's like the next conversation, which is probably like 5 days later, because they talk, like every 5 days for 40 seconds. It's like, I'm so into you. I'm like, you don't even know anything about him.
Also, like, how much time could they possibly spend together? Like a cumulative 45 minutes, like one-on-one? Very, very little. Like
very little. And I don't know if we've learned anything about Thomas.
I can't tell you a single fact. I mean, all we know is that he's from the San Diego area and he's like a real estate broker.
I was gonna say, I think he's a broker, because when I looked at the job titles, I think there's only like 2 or 3 real estate agents, which usually there's more, because that's like another one you can just like slap on.
Yeah.
Like usually on Bachelor seasons, there's so many real estate agents.
Yeah.
And the women.
Yeah. Did you watch Selling Sunset?
Of course.
It's a great show. And they all like just say like real estate agent, but like a lot of them are not actually. Like there's like, they just sort of fudge it.
Yeah. If you can work at the brokerage, like you can just say real estate agent.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You show houses. But he's a broker, which is not actually like that's a legit job.
Yes,
position.
It is. Yeah. I always like the people with legit jobs, men and women. I'm just like, this is great. But then I'm just like, why are you here? If you have a legit job,
well, think about him. A legit job, beautiful, tall, drinks juice and works out every morning. Why are you on the show?
I don't know. I wish that people like explained that. Like one thing that happened a lot on Tayshia's season is she would be like, so why are you single? And I was sort of thought that was like rude at first, but then I was like, you know what? It's a good question. You need to know.
In general, they pick people on both Bachelor and Bachelorettes that are above average looking.
Yeah.
General.
Yeah.
Why are you single?
Yeah. Especially for the ones who are slightly older, which I feel like with Tayshia and Claire, like a lot of those guys were older, which was great. But it is different. Like Greg being single, I get it. He like wanted to do his Murray Hill fuckboy thing. Now he's ready. But like,
but also that's fine. You can say like, I really enjoyed being single.
Totally.
I finally want to settle down. I like don't know how to do that because I've had sex with 700 girls every year for like the past 10 years. Or B, this seemed like, a great route. And if it doesn't work out with you, I'll have Instagram followers.
Yeah, seriously. And then continue his pace of 700 girls a year. So
like
it's a win-win.
I personally, if I were the Bachelorette, like I would enjoy I would appreciate the honesty.
Yeah. Oh, completely. I think that's true in like any relationship. You're just like, okay, like at least you're being honest. It's like, you know what you're getting.
And also it's like the whole, like, I need to know why you're here. Totally valid. But like, you can't expect people to not want Instagram followers. Like you, Katie, wanted Instagram followers going on The Bachelor. Like everyone that does these shows, like maybe they want it to work out. I'm hoping that most of them want it to work out. But like, it's a really good fallback cushion to be like, and also I'll have Instagram followers.
Yeah. It means that you will have like a new source of income regardless.
I also think of like guys like Michael, the dad.
Mm.
I'm like,
I wanted to talk to you about him.
I wonder if he's like fallback plan. Everyone sees how genuine I am, knows my story, and I'll find my wife this way, one way or another.
Yeah, totally. Cause like, okay, I'll go back to Akron and it'll be a lot easier to date. First of all, people know what they're getting into from the beginning. So like there's no like big reveal. And there is definitely a glow that you get where it's like you go from being like regular guy to like, oh, you were on TV, regular guy. Let me talk to you. It's like it's an automatic glow up. You don't even need to change how you look. It's just like an air about you.
I also, I find interesting is that Katie has talked about her connection with Thomas multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't think it's like your brain connecting. I think it's you being like, you're
He's
hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she hasn't had that same thing with Michael. But I'm like, I know so much more about Michael than I do Thomas.
Totally. I completely agree. Did you go to Michael's Instagram?
I did not. Uh-oh.
No, it's a positive. Michael has grown a beard since being on the show. And he, I would say, is like 200% hotter. It is one of the most transformational beards I've ever seen. And he already seemed like a nice, good looking guy. And now he is like hot. I'm like, wow, Michael, I love this look for you. I
think he's like, you can see potential.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I was like, wow, this is a truly impressive beard. Some guys you just don't know. Like also if you see them at one way, you get used to it. But it's honestly all I can say is it's transformational. I would check it out. His name is Michael Alio, so you can look for him later.
I definitely will because he's one of my.
He's popular.
Yeah, he's one of my faves. I like him, Thomas, Andrew, S, Greg, as like my people that I want to do well. I don't know if they all will, but those are the people I want to do well.
Definitely seems like Andrew S. will. They seem to have they just seem like they're going to be good friends though. And that's the thing about Katie. So they talk about sex all the time, but like, she's just not sexual to me. Is
Katie a porn star? Because that is what they're acting like. I'm like, every episode cannot be about sex. Is that what we're expecting? Is every episode's going to be about sex? Like, should I just have that expectation at this point?
Was your mom surprised by how much they talked about sex?
Actually, no, which is alarming now that you say that. I wish that she was more surprised. She was not at all. She was totally into it, actually. She did say that like the performances that the guys did were super cringy sometimes.
Yeah.
Like she was just like, oh, like how is she like like I think they, Tayshia laughing, Caitlin laughing, they like, made it lighthearted and whatever. But some of those were just the biggest turnoffs to me.
That was a real sound of disgust. Yes. I totally agree. I mean, it was just not funny. The dick in the box thing was actually kind of funny to me, but the rest I was just like, I don't know. I thought Cat Guy's song was kind of cute. At least it was clever, showed some skills, but like not hot.
Wait, also he was like, I was in my element. Hey, that's where I'm most comfortable. But was it that great? I was very confused.
I mean, I think he was just like happy to be playing the keyboard or whatever. It seems like he just likes to perform. Performers got to perform. It's like shooters got to shoot.
I was not that impressed, but maybe I didn't pay attention to like the musical element of it and was just paying attention to his lyrics.
I've never been to Nashville, but there's so many Nashville people on reality television, and like everyone says it's a really cool, fun city. Whatever. It seems, I did watch Very Cavallari with Jay Cutler. It's like deer hunting and everything. But
I watched it also.
if you only knew about Nashville from reality television, it would seem like every single person who lives there is like a musician who's ready at all times to play. And like, I don't know if that's true or not, but like that is the like what it seems like from all of the shows I watch.
Yeah. So all of my friends that live in Nashville are somehow tied to country music. Like their parents are, their agents, they're actual musicians, they're sound techs, they work at club, like country music runs Nashville.
So it's real. So it's an accurate depiction. Huh. I love country music, actually. Not all of it, but
They have like professional sports teams there too. And like obviously everyday life, like they have a grocery store. Someone's working at the grocery store. But
they've got Safeway
I
or
would
something
say that,
like it.
yeah. Or Piggly Wiggly. But
I had
country
never
music
heard of
definitely
Piggly Wiggly
dominates.
until very recently. Van Lathan had to explain Piggly Wiggly to me.
I don't even know where it's like based, but my
It's a
parents
Southern
went to
thing.
Piggly Wiggly. Yeah.
Yeah, Van told me. He was referencing it, and I was like, what is that? And I was like, is that like a hot dog store? And he was like, what's wrong with you? So I was on
a grocery store. I think it is odd to name a grocery store, but
yeah, might have started out as something else. Anyway, yeah, the performances were just cringe. I thought at first I was like, this date is really dumb, but I've now talked about it quite a bit, and actually, like, this is actually kind of a good date. I mean, they didn't have a lot to work with in New Mexico.
I didn't even think about it. I wonder, like, I was worried though. I will say this, like when I think we talked about this on the first episode, like I was very worried at about I think Katie is like overly entertaining. So I was like wondering how this season was going to be. I'm like happy so far.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I mean, I do think it's like finding a bit of a rhythm, and it seems like there's a lot more drama to come. First of all, Blake didn't show up. I'm sorry for you. So we still have that to come. And then it seems like Thomas next week. I don't even know what's going on there. I don't even know.
I know we've talked about how good looking Thomas is 700 times, but his skin is flawless.
Yeah.
If
really
anything comes to this, I know you're a real estate broker. I know you have a real job, but you got to get into skincare because on camera, it shines. It's some of the best skin I've seen. It's also very taut. You need to know if you've done Botox or what you're doing to keep your skin like that.
Okay.
It's amazing.
When I see people like that, I assume they're vegan and drink a ton of water. I don't know why, but that's like what I just think that like they're like plant-based or something like that. I think that particularly for men, that makes a really big difference. Like when I see Steve Nash on TV and his skin also looks very taut. He's more wrinkles than Thomas, obviously, but I always think about how he's vegan, and I'm just like, yep, that's why.
That's interesting. I've never thought about that. I just can't imagine being vegan. So maybe it's like so far out of my realm of possibility that I don't even think about it. But he could be. I mean, his build, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, especially he lives in the San Diego area. I mean, he's definitely a green juice guy. Definitely 5 a.m. workouts. Like, we can be certain about that.
100% a 5 a.m.er.
Absolutely. Also, now he can like get into skincare on Instagram. That's one of the most major endorsement product lines. So like, this is great for Thomas.
Great for Thomas. Also, I wish Thomas was on that sex date. I need something more from him.
I think we will get more. It seems like people are into him. I think. I mean, he's like definitely like one of like the focal points of the season so far.
Yeah. I mean, the previews for next week, it seems like, by the way, him saying like, yes, I could be the Bachelor. Like that thought did run through my head. My first reaction was like, no, why are you doing this to yourself? But also I'm like, fair. You could be. You are literally what they want.
Yeah. I know he is really cute. I was looking at his Instagram and he only has 4 posts and they started in February. So he probably deleted everything, which I think is smart. Good job, Thomas.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he might not care about Instagram and started an Instagram because he's going to be on the show.
I think it's more likely he deleted everything. That's my guess.
How old is he?
Thomas, let's see. He is 28 years old.
Yeah, he's too young to not have had an Instagram.
Yeah, and like guys who are like youngish who don't have Instagram tend to usually be like really like artsy or like really like deliberate and like not wanting to have a digital footprint. They don't go on The Bachelorette. So and they're not also
that's fair.
In real estate, you kind of need to have an Instagram to like show off the properties that you have. Yeah. So maybe he has another one or something. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I mean, he does seem like he could be the Bachelor. I mean, there's going to be so many options. It's kind of interesting because they'll also have everyone from Claire and Tayshia's season, plus everyone from Michelle's season. So like, You have to really make a name for yourself if you want to be Bachelor, because there's like literally 100 people to choose from.
Are they going Bachelorette, Bachelorette, Bachelor?
They're going Bachelorette, Paradise, Bachelorette, Bachelor.
Got it.
Yeah. So it's literally a pool of 90 guys that they can choose from for Bachelor. So like everyone who's in Paradise right now, they're probably going hard because they want the screen time to become Bachelor. Worked for Nick
I think
Viall.
if Thomas comes with more personality, he's like the ideal candidate. So I can't say like, I want your honesty. Then he gives it to me and I'm like, not that honesty. Like I'm happy, I guess, that he was like, yes, I've thought about it. But by the way, like everyone has thought about it, right?
Yeah, of course, because it's part of going on the show. If it doesn't work out, what do you get from this? Well, for Thomas, he can become a skincare influencer or he can be the Bachelor. And that sounds like a great addition to his life. Also, to our point about him being a 5 a.m.er with green juice, one of his facts on his bio is Thomas often wonders if The Rock really can eat everything he posts on Instagram for his cheat meal days. So that's all you need to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Thomas. I'm looking forward to getting more of him. I just like the fights where you don't know what they're talking about. Like with Cody was just sort of like, this is just really confusing. It's not that fun to watch. So I'm ready for more meaningful fighting.
It is kind of smart though, because the amount of like stalking I did post fight to try to figure it out was high. So like, if that's the engagement they want, they got it from that fight from me.
Yeah. Totally true. So we were locked in. I mean, we've also talked about it a lot. So this episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 Bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements. So many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code VISIBLE24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need, have coverage options to protect the things you value most, file a claim right on the State Farm mobile app, and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Callie, what's happening on TikTok? Anything I need to know about that might not have come across my transom otherwise?
First of all, you got to get on TikTok. There's so much information on TikTok. There's so much information that you don't even have to watch some of the shows and you can kind of get the information off TikTok. Like I feel like I haven't watched Housewife and the Hustler yet. Have you?
No, not yet. But I was actually texting about it with someone last night. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard it's amazing on TikTok with all my TikTok friends that don't know I exist. But yeah, so stuff like that. But
I want TikTok to help me follow Real Housewives of Orange County because I don't want to watch it, but I want to know what's happening. So that's like how I'll
you could
follow
definitely
along.
use TikTok for that. I also feel similarly, although
Kelly Dodd out.
Yeah, I heard it was recast with 3 new housewives.
And Heather Dubrow's back.
I loved Heather because I just feel like Housewives is supposed to be absurdly rich people.
Yes. And like you should have a plastic surgeon husband on the Housewives. That is what the show is supposed to be.
I don't think I ever realized until watching reality television, specifically Housewives, like plastic surgeons make money, but like that much money?
because it's like all elective, so it's not covered by
insurance.
Yeah, so it's just like straight into their pockets, and it's like people who want to pay for it. I mean, obviously some is covered by insurance. Like if you watch Grey's Anatomy, Dr. Jackson Avery's work is often covered by insurance. I've seen every episode of Grey's Anatomy. I've never missed one. I fucking love it. I still watch it. Anyway, that's why they're so rich. It's like all elective surgery and like, Botox, once you start, you can't stop. It's $100 a shot at least.
Well, if that's the case, I have not followed that rule at all. I've gotten Botox twice in my life randomly.
Was once for your wedding? I feel like a lot of people do that.
Yes, but my very first time was probably like a month before my wedding. Cause I guess you just try all types of shit for your wedding. And then my friend who is not a plastic surgeon, she is a esthetician. Yeah. She came to my house once and like just gave us all free Botox.
Oh my God. What a wonderful friend.
She is. I mean, she's one of the people I've known for the longest, actually. So she came to my house and did that. I also think she listens to this podcast.
Oh,
so
great.
Hello, Lauren.
Thanks, Lauren. You sound like a wonderful friend.
And those are the 2 times I've ever done it, but they were also like 8 months apart. So I'm not following the proper.
I do think you're supposed to do it like on a regular schedule as you get older for the proper benefits. That's what I've heard.
I think you're supposed to like every 4 months.
Oh, okay.
I want to say. And they tell you that every time you go. And I'm like, for sure. But again, like I can't even wash my face every day. So I'm probably not their prime candidate to do it.
Anyway, back to TikTok. That's how we got here.
Oh, yes. I don't even know how we started to talk about Botox. But the main things on TikTok are all about Greg. There's also a few stories that don't name people. And it's like a girl would be like, I dated a guy that was on The Bachelorette. I don't know if they're all like, it seems like they're all about Greg, but I'm like, all of these can't be about Greg. A lot of that, like this girl told this story about how she was dating a guy for a while and then he just disappeared. And then two months later, she now sees him on The Bachelor.
Oh, interesting.
Bachelorette. But I feel like I've seen that on TikTok in past seasons. So
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of these guys, like, are dating somebody, not knowing if they're going to be on the show or not. They find out they're on the show and they're like, I feel like the best route out of this is to just block their number and hope they don't watch The Bachelorette. And I'm like, can't you just be like, hey, this isn't working out? Or like, I feel like,
hey, I got this opportunity. I want to pursue it. Sorry.
Better ways to handle it, I think.
Yes, I would definitely agree. I heard that I don't really follow Demois anymore. It's like too much, but I heard that Demois on Instagram was also posting a lot about Greg. But I don't want spoilers, and I also like morally object to Demois, so I don't really keep up with it.
Interesting, you do.
Yeah, I think it's like fucked up. I think it's totally unverified. It's like frequently wrong. And it's just
I don't
like
follow. Is it do we even know who it is?
I think it's a woman because she's like done interviews and you can hear her voice.
I don't follow her, but it pops up on my on TikTok. They'll have her post as a backdrop, and people will come and talk about her post.
Yeah, and I think like when I first moved to LA, and I was like, oh, there's celebrities everywhere. I'm gonna take pictures. I would do that.
You were paparazzi?
I would just be like, cool. Here's my phone. I'm gonna take a picture of the celebrity walking by me at True Food Kitchen. But I now, many years later, recognize that's like pretty unfair. And I mean, it's like very invasive. And I just think like the sort of the sightings are just kind of fucked up. So, and that's like the whole thing she does now. It's like just like where all these celebrities are. And I just think it's messed up. So, and I just like hate the false information and like spreading rumors. So as a loyal Page 6 reader, I can't abide.
I was just laughing so hard because I mean, I don't know you that well. Like, it's not like we're best friends by any means, but I've talked to you an enormous amount. I feel I cannot imagine you like whipping your phone out and just taking pictures of celebrities. I feel like you've grown a lot since that time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, we all have to grow. People can change. And now I just think that's really wrong. I would never invade someone's privacy like that.
Also, I would say not skinny, but not fat.
Oh, yeah.
Is a much better version of
Yeah, I just saw the
Yeah.
Erin Foster one on that podcast. I got to listen to it.
She seems much more real about it. She'll say like, I don't know for sure. Like, she's not like, this is happening. I feel like she's more reporting on like, everyone saw this, right? Like this person posted this.
Yeah,
I like her.
It's like connecting everything. Yeah, she's pretty popular. I think people do seem to like her. And also it seems like she's like not as like trying to like out people. That's what I don't like about Demoise, is trying to like make people look bad. And some people deserve to look bad, but I'm like, let's research it a little bit more before you just post these anonymous notes. Like that's my real problem with it, is that there's no fact checking at all. And like, I love tabloids. I definitely will not lie about that, but but like, that's like why I also love reality TV, but at least there's like some culpability and like liability there. So like they've done some work looking into it. I don't know. That's just where I stand.
No, I'm not against that. I guess there is a reason why I don't follow her. And I think like pages like Not Skinny But Not Fat, like she'll have like a theory like that Kourtney Kardashian's pregnant with twins, but like she makes it into like, I mean hers, but she's very much so like, I have absolutely no evidence. This is just like me looking at pictures and seeing signs. And she like kind of makes fun of herself through it. So it's not like, you don't look at it and you're like, oh my God, she's having twins. You're kind of like, this is a funny thing that she thinks could be possible. Like if Kourtney Kardashian posted pictures and there's only 2 flowers in it, she's like, 2 flowers. I see 2 flowers. That must mean she has 2 babies in her stomach. Like it's very, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So like, that doesn't bother me at all.
The main thing, it's also just really hard to avoid spoilers. Like, I don't know. It's just like, that's how when you let those accounts in, and it's just more fun to watch the show without spoilers. It's also much more difficult to do this podcast with spoilers. Like, because
I do not
you have to filter it all.
Look at spoilers at all.
Yeah. What's the point? You just want to watch the show and like have fun with it.
I follow a ton of challenge. It's probably the show I follow the most. Weird. I don't really follow any of the other shows like fan pages. I follow like 5 challenge ones.
That's incredible.
I'm also in like a sports bracket thing for money for the challenge one. So I think that's probably why.
Nice.
But whenever they post spoilers, it's like spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. And like if they're like flip through. So like I never flip through.
Right.
Who wants to watch the show when you know the results? Stupid.
I know. Johnny Bananas spoiled one season for me by accident. And we forgot to edit that out of the podcast. We eventually did. I'm very sorry to everyone who we spoiled. I don't support that. It'll never happen again. But I love the challenge as well. That's another one where it's like there actually is some suspense to it. I don't know. The challenge couples are just like incredible to follow. I mean,
I think I saw Cam yesterday. I meant to look
on.
Oh
my God. Is she? Yeah, she's from Philly.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, she used to before Houston, they lived there. She used to live in Philly. They were long distance for a while.
I was actually on the phone with your bestie Pasha.
Oh.
And I like walked past her and we were having like a serious conversation. So like I couldn't bring it up to him in the moment. And in my head, I was like, I need to look at her Instagram to see if she's in Philly. It must have been her. Like
I'm sure, she used to live there.
She was just like sitting there eating food by herself. And I was like, oh my God, that's Cam. Also weird, like, I don't know. If I saw like Shaq on the street, I would keep walking. But me seeing Cam, I was like, oh my God, Cam is right there.
I don't say this lightly because I don't like this hashtag, but Cam and Leroy are literally relationship goals. They are so cute. Leroy's transformation, how love has changed his life, is the cutest thing in the world. I fucking love it.
I think that it's easy to cheer for them because they seem so genuine.
Oh my God. Yeah. I watched their 35-minute video about picking a mattress for their bed in Houston. And I was like, this is real.
Did you watch all 35 minutes?
Yes, I did. I really did.
I don't know.
I have no life. That's why I'm dying to go to a bar at 10:45 a.m.
This is incredibly off topic. I don't know if you saw this video of Nikola Jokic yesterday.
No.
Did you see this?
No.
There's a 2-minute and 8-second video of him casually taking a chariot ride. I don't even know if it's called a chariot. I'll have to send it to you, in Serbia. And I'm like,
he's already back in Serbia?
Apparently taking chariot rides on his, day off, like just in this tiny little like cart being pulled by a horse, just like trotting through. Like it is the most, I'm like, how is this? It's the craziest video, but I watched all 2 minutes and 8 seconds of him riding around on this horse.
Oh my God. Okay, I have to check it out. I obviously there's a lot of content out there that I'm missing. Just can you send me all of this stuff because I want to keep up with it. And then if you send me the right TikToks, it'll propagate the algorithm.
Do you
for me.
have TikTok on your phone?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm gonna start sending you them when I get them, and you're gonna get into deep.
Get me sucked in.
holes.
It's great. So I stopped Googling at 4 a.m. Just watch TikTok. It'll be great.
Deep holes.
It'll be great. I look forward to it. Callie, thank you so much for joining me. As always, it's a delight. I'll be back on Monday. We'll be back next Thursday. And everyone should watch what's the name of the special about Erica Jane, Tom Girardi?
Housewife and the Hustler.
Housewife and the Hustler. Let's talk about that next week.
Also, reunion next week.
Sailing Yacht.
Cannot wait.
So excited. I'm so excited. Honestly, on Monday night after I watched Sailing Yacht, I was just like, I don't know that I will enjoy anything as much as this for the rest of the year. So I really need to savor it. And I was like, should I even watch it now? Like, I just don't know. It was such a great season of reality television.
I know. I'm trying to think if there's anything coming up that I'm excited for.
I'm excited about F-Boy Island. And I'm excited about Bachelor in Paradise. And Too Hot to Handle is coming back on Netflix.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm excited about it, but I'm 100% going to watch it. I am very excited about Potomac.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm catching up. I'm middle of season 4 right now.
Also F-Boy Island. I feel like I have no context at all about what it's actually going to be about, but it's on HBO.
Great name.
Awesome name.
Yeah. It's just
the name. The name alone, it could have been on like Lifetime and I would have watched it.
Yeah. 100%. It's definitely true. I'm really excited about Potomac as well. I feel like I'm like just really like joining like the cool reality TV kids because everyone's like, this is the best show. So I needed to get involved.
So good. And then scripted shows really quick. Cruel Summer was interesting.
Oh, I'm obsessed with this band, Johnny Swim. And and the woman in it, her sister is on Cruel Summer. So I've like seen it on their Instagrams.
Wait, do you know which one she is?
Her name's Brooklyn Sudano Ramirez.
I'm going to look it up.
Or Brooklyn Sudano.
My in-laws are like obsessed with Johnny Swim.
I am as well. The woman in it, who's Donna Summer's daughter, is like the most beautiful living human I've ever seen. And the guy is also like awesome. They have like a lovely family. I'm like obsessed.
I was gonna say they're married, right?
Yeah. They're like, I'm obsessed with them as well. And I love a lot of their music is the main part. So
I need to listen to them. They're like my in-laws are obsessed with them.
Yeah, so am I. I'm just like, you guys seem great. And they have like a new show on Chip and Joanna Gaines' Magnolia Network. So I don't know. I carve out a lot of time for their content. They do like these YouTube shows and stuff. Anyway, so that's how I know about it because I saw it on their Instagrams. And I heard that was good.
It is good. It's interesting. So I just finished that. The finale of that was on Tuesday. And I guess it got picked up for season 2. So
nice.
Yeah, you should watch that. And then I randomly watched Condor on Epix. I think it's also on Amazon.
Going deep.
Seth and I like loved that.
What is it?
It's like about spies. There's lots of killing.
Okay.
A lot of people die in that show.
All right.
But it's really good. It kept us up.
I recommend Starstruck on HBO Max. It's a nice British rom-com. It's great.
Interesting.
6 episodes. I tore through it in one sitting. I had a lovely Sunday afternoon.
Wait, what's it called?
Starstruck.
I need to add that to my list.
And I'm going to watch Lupin Part 2 this weekend. I can't wait on Netflix.
I was also told Hacks on HBO was funny.
I really don't like comedians. And I don't like content like by comedians for comedians, so I won't be watching. But I love Jean Smart. She was great on Mare of Easttown, so I support it. Everyone loves it. I like really hated Master of None for that reason. I was just like, this is like comedian content for comedians, and like I've been on dates with comedians. It's awful. So I don't need this in my life. But I support you. Everyone else seems to really like it.
I think that's like a trigger for you. From these dates.
Just like, don't test your material on me. It's not what I'm looking for. Like, let's move on.
I've never, ever been on a date with a comedian. So I didn't even realize that that's what the content was for. But there was another part of. Yeah, there was a show, I think on HBO or Showtime that was definitely that. It was like, there's like 5 comedians every week, like guest appearance on the show. I loved it. It got canceled. But
I think the only show that's an exception to that is Barry, which is also like by comedians for comedians, but is actually good and dark. And I like Bill Hader. So
I haven't watched that. And I know it's won like multiple awards and people tell me I should watch it.
It's
but
good.
I can't see him as anything other than Dexter. Right?
No, that's a different show. That's Michael C. Hall. Bill Hader is Stefan from Saturday Night Live.
Cool.
On that note, we'll be back next week. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you to Isaiah Blakely for producing this episode.
Can't wait till next Thursday.